And we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. This is Michael. In this one, I'm going to go into how to get a 100,000 business loan offer plus $13,000 in free exclusive bonuses. I will be breaking down from 100,000 to 25,000, showing you some offer examples, what to expect at the end of the month, what can happen if you don't get your bank statements in fully, or if you have an offer on the table and you wait too long, the downsides to all of that, and so much more. I'm going to be getting into the share screen in just a moment. I just want to know, how are you guys doing? Let me know if you're watching right now on the live with the hashtag live or a hashtag replay on the replay. I'm going to get this one fairly quick. I'm dealing with a lot right now. I won't get into what's happening on the personal side. I don't like bringing that up too much. But those of you who got my past email or emails know that my best friend and my brother, our family dog, passed away. We had to put him down on Monday. So it's a bit difficult. I didn't think I'd be doing this. I'm still grieving, and it's a bit difficult for me to do. But just hang in there, and that's why I'm going to keep it short and keep my energy, because I really have been thinking of him a lot today. He's a peekapoo, toy poodle mixed with the Pekingese, just the most loyal dog. I'd always hold him here. And, my brother, right? I have a younger brother, a human younger brother, and then who's 23, I'm 29. And, I stuck it out for so long with him. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Well, I guess I should say I'm doing okay. I'm still, in the process, but I'm going to get through this one, guys. I promise you it's going to be well done and it's well thought of. I put it on a document for you all with the time that I had to do. But yeah, I'm in that place right now where I just want to devote a lot of my mind and energy to my dog. And just the most loyal thing, it's nice to speak about him, and I don't want to go too into detail because it helps, I know, but we're all going through this. And he was just another brother to me. He was the most loyal thing, and I looked after him. We were inseparable, unbreakable. Yeah. But let me get into the share screen now so that I can show you guys what's going on here. I thought doing this would also help, but I'm going to keep it as short as possible again because it is very difficult right now. So let me get into the share screen. And this format will be a lot easier for me because, let me move this over, because then I'm not 100% ready to be in front of a camera like this. That's why I want to spend limited time. So it's opposed to this, I'd rather be on a little corner screenshot. You guys can still see me on the top or maybe in the bottom here, which is StreamYard. But this is going to be a very well thought out document. And I do appreciate that, Don. So now let me get right into this. So the title of this reads 100,000 to 25,000 business loan offer and $13,000 plus free exclusive bonuses breakdown. So what does this mean? Well, I'm going to give you guys an example of how somebody can qualify for about 25, or I should say 30, because I kind of adjusted it. So this really should say 30. Let's put it at 30. I changed the example. And some examples that I've had previous clients going through, it's not their exact details. I've changed the numbers, some of the reasons they're asking for funding, qualifications, credit score, and a few things because that's confidential information. But I've given you guys just almost exact stuff that you guys are going to get back in feedback. So breaking this down, I'm going to go down here and talk about, first of all, end of the month offers. If you guys can see this, maybe it's not too clear on your screen. What I mean by an end of the month offer, and I released this the other day, and I also put it in the Facebook group if you've been following me. Do not wait. Do not put off an offer if you're given one. It's close to the end of the month. I had plenty of people who accepted their offer. Some of them declined. But I told them, hey, this is how it works. If you want to get your offer, if you don't want to go through another month of having to start from scratch, the whole underwriting process again, having to submit, for this example, February bank statements or a transaction report, and I'll get into some of that in a bit, then you can go ahead and get in contact with our underwriter. Usually it's our underwriter who will reach out to you through an email, through a call, etc., and how you can accept that. That'll be given to you, and then you can send that information back. So once that information is given, usually you have, if it's like on that day, just before, like if it's February 28th, just before you go into March 1st, you have that whole day of the 28th to really think about it. And you have only that day to accept it. So that's what I mean by the end of the month offer. And then I'm going to get into some people who have different positions, and how that's reducing what they can qualify for, especially with an example I'm going to show you of a person who's trying to get equipment financing, and he has multiple positions. So now let me come back into the share screen here. So end of month offers, as I said, you can accept at any time of the day. After today, if we're talking about, for the example of the February 28th, they, as in the underwriters, the lenders, will require, and the underwriters, etc., require another month's bank statement or a month-to-date bank transaction report, excuse me. So the next point that I want to make here is battling for the right offer. Does it exist? This is the probably biggest thing. You're going to get to see some numbers in a second, so make sure you stick with me until the very end. I'm sure this is going to be well worth your time. What you guys are getting in this video will never be given out in other ones. Tell me if somebody else who does. If you individually communicate with another broker, they don't break it down as well for you, or a different program, brokerage, direct lenders, how I'm going to talk about why you have to be cautious of that. But if you're battling for the right offer, does it exist? And what I mean by that is, do you have control of what you can get? Not a lot of times. You don't have a lot of say-so in this equation. In our underwriting process, what our lenders are looking for, what I'm looking for as the broker when I get to sit down with them, then they give me this information, and I'm going to show you firsthand that I'm not BSing any of you. So it also depends on the type of service, right? You might have more control if you have better funding details, and I mean things like your FICO credit score, credit worthiness, if we're checking business credits, how we're comparing the two and what's happening in those. We're looking at revenue. And what I want to say here is, if you have strong enough revenue, and I'm going to get into some of the underwriting guidelines, not all of them, so stick with me, and you're going to see how all this makes sense to you. This will probably be the biggest video you're going to watch this whole year. And I know I'm coming at it from like you guys can sense it in my voice, and you guys can feel it, that if you're just tuning in, I don't want to get into it, but I lost a family member, a dog. So, but what you guys need to understand is, if you have greater revenue, but you have a less than satisfied FICO credit score. So I'm going to show you guys an example. So, but let's say you have 560, and you have a revenue, on average, you're doing 82,000 per month. That's on average. So that's really good in the last 3 months. Depends on the service, depends on the brokerage, depends on the lenders, how many bank statements. Do we have to ask for tax returns if we go over 100,000 or over 250,000, just to determine that there's no type of fraud, what type of profits being made, and we just have to look at more extensive stuff to verify. But what's being given is, at 82,000, you have a 560 FICO credit score. Now, we also ask not only what's your average, but what is your lowest month within the last 3 months. And those of you who I've spoken to know this already. And I'll show you guys in a bit, but if you guys have not filled out a funding submission form, I'll try to leave it in the comment section, but when this is uploaded, you'll see it in the description. But you guys can simply fill out some funding details. It'll land in my email. I will analyze it, and I'll evaluate it, and I will give you guys a proper response. So lately, I've been trying to get my mind off of what's happening, and by doing that, I'm doing this. But it is a little bit difficult, and I'm still going at a little slower rate. So please, if you haven't gotten a response from me, I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Just know that I'm really hurting right now. But this is a way for me to, in a way, get it out. And I blogged earlier, and so I had to get things down on paper. But if you have a higher amount of revenue, for that example, if you're doing 82,000 and you have like a 560 FICO, then perhaps you're not even asking for much. Maybe you're asking for like 35 or 30K. Then perhaps we can get you, if you're asking for 30K, perhaps we can get you even more, because your revenue is strong enough at that point. And it's not so much of a credit score issue. Yeah, it doesn't look great. At the end of it, I'll show you how that all turns out, what your payments will look like, what the rates, what will it look like, and everything like that. So let me get back into this share screen. So just to keep in mind, again, just to reiterate, is Don't battle for the right offer. Battle for possibly getting the better repayment. And it's not always in your control, right? So you can only control what you can. Yes, stronger revenue will override sometimes the FICO credit score, and as well as sometime in business. And I'll get into that in a moment. So I have an example here that I'm going to read to you guys as I move this over. And I'm looking at my screen. I think this makes it easier because you guys can't always see the screen. So I have an example here right now where I'm battling and I'm dealing with somebody who is trying to get an equipment loan for a truck they've been approved for already for $151,000. We didn't accept. His application has expired. We're talking about a pivotal situation where somebody, thank you, Don, is already in February and they have to submit a new application. I already have their bank statements, January, February, and so forth, months prior and so forth. But the thing is, you wait too long. And so what will that do to you? Right. It will defeat your willpower, your motivation, and you're going to just put it on pause. You may not exactly shut off and say, I'm not going to put an application in, but you will put it on pause. Now, over here, this person who okay, so the situation, let me speed you guys up. So he's trying to get equipment financing, and I've seen this a lot. There's many different scenarios. And he's been approved for a truck, a down payment of $65,000. And some people will be like, whoa, that's a lot. That's over like 50% plus, when some other programs can require 10 to 25% or so. Yes, but the credit score is an issue. Sometimes the revenue dips, ending bank balances, the amount of deposits, the types of withdrawals, all the transactions that go into bank statements, right? So that's something you have to be careful of. And that's why you don't always get approved for what you want. Even if you have strong enough revenue, like I said in that example earlier, it depends on how the bank statements, and if we have to get you more funding, then maybe it's a tax return, a profit and loss statements, and so much more that we can go on at a different time. But this person here, let me look on my screen. We're trying to get him to apply for an MCA loan, which is a merchant cash advance. Very fast funding. It's usually based upon your credit card receivables. Usually takes away a future percentage of that. On a low day, you get taken out less. On a higher day of sales, get taken out more. Some of you guys are probably familiar with this. But we're trying to get him that loan so then he can use it as partially a down payment for the truck. So there are other ways of doing this. However, this person won't qualify for an MCA as he has 2 existing loans, which one he just got last month. So why are you even getting a loan if you're trying to get a truck here? Maybe I should have explained it a little bit in the beginning, but I didn't know he was not going to take a down payment like that. But if you're after something, we're not well educated sometimes on should we take more positions. Taking too many loans, and I get too many people that come to me when they have already first, second, third in so many positions who ask me, what are the chances of me getting approved for this type of funding, for this one? And it can be very minimal to none. Like with a business line of credit, 4th positions, even 3rd positions at times don't even get taken. Not even after the 1st position, depending on who you got it from and who the lender is and who the brokerage you're going through. So you have to be careful about and understand your actual goals and your business. Don't just start taking debt that just piles up and your debt to income ratio just becomes even more, and then you're not actually using that debt for good. So there has to be a positive way you're using this. So now let me get back into this over here. So his options are very limited as he is over leveraged, as you guys came to the conclusion. And his credit is just low. So it doesn't help him that his credit is low. He's taking out all these other loans. It's going to be hard for him to get approved for an MCA in another position. And then let me come back over here. We would potentially try to reduce the down payment by 30 to 35%. So this is now where we're using our leverage, where I'm thinking too with my underwriters and my lenders, and I'm asking, hey, I've seen this done before. Can I help this person lower their down payment if we do this situation, which I'm going to tell you. So this person won't qualify. We know this for an MCA. He has 2 existing loans, which one he just got last month. So you just got one last month. Whether that's just 2 or 3 positions, you just got one last month. And that can also depend on the amount. His options are very limited. And it also depends on how much he got funding for. So if we see a different lender gave him like $15,000 and another one he has $10,000, well, generally we're going to give him less than those 2, and we just can't do that much anymore. So that could be another case. So we could potentially try to reduce his down payment by 30 to 35%, but the lender wants to know if he has any tangible assets. This is what we're talking about, giving up some type of a collateral. Right now we're getting into a deeper situation. So like other trucks that he owns, does he own any real estate? Does he have a personal savings account? So in a sense, we're talking about a business loan from a traditional bank point of view, right? Where most people think it's just real estate that you give up, but there's a lot more. There's inventory, equipment, some type of home equity. There's so much things that we can go into, but a piece of equipment and so forth. But those are just like the primary uses of it. So does he have a personal savings account where we can take some away from there? So that's the thing you have to be careful of is when you're getting into this, I'm getting different business loans type of mindset. What are you really using them for? Does it really make sense to you to continuously take them out? And are you getting them from the right places? I just spoke to a lady the other day. I won't say her name, and I'm speaking to her right now. She is unsatisfied with the company, and I asked her why. I want to know the reason. Maybe she's not going to share it with me, but I'm trying to break down the reasons why you're unhappy with this other brokerage or this other direct lender you're going to, because it gives me an idea of how I can best help you. If I don't have those answers, not that I'm being pushy and I'm telling you to come over here. What I'm saying is, at the very least, can I know why you're having problems with them? And then that tells me, oh, okay, this is why. They're wrong for doing that, or they're not wrong for doing that. There's reasons why. So now let me come back into the share screen. Now let me get back into this and show you guys the example. So example one, this is where we're going to get very deep now. And I'm going to try to rush this through, but I'll take my time as well. So you guys know I'm very patient about things. So example one, funding amount that this person is requesting. And I've taken away the name and I've changed and I've altered numbers, reasons, and things like that for these purposes. So example one, funding amount that this person is requesting is $30,000. Their credit score is a 540, and I should state here FICO. We're not talking business credit yet. I know many people, they will converse with me and give me some type of a business credit score and Paydex numbers. But most of the time when I'm asking for your credit score, I'll say FICO, or I'll just say credit score. And I know sometimes can be confusing if I'm asking for personal or business. So time in business here, years or months. And by the way, if you guys, again, haven't filled out a funding submission form, I'll try to leave it in the comments. If not, I'll put it in the description. But this will be the fastest way to get a hold of me. And please, like here, let me move this. Let's save our energy and time. I'm speaking with certain individuals right now, back and forth email, and I sent them my contact form so they can go fill it out, and I'll show you guys how that looks. I've updated it a little bit, but go fill it out. Just fill it out. I know you're going to be sending emails back and forth, and I get that, and I can respond to them, but fill it out. Just know, put yourself in my position. I have a lot of people that I speak to, and then I have to kind of move as smoothly, and I don't want to have to pause like for something very simple or something very like obtuse or obtuse. And so as much time as I take care of you guys on each file, just put yourself in my shoes and just keep moving and submitting those files, and I'll get to you. That's not to be rude or anything. So time in business, years or months, this person here has 1 year and 4 months, and I've not specifically is that I've moved it around. And so your monthly sales is 72,500, and it's not that, again, that they truly have. I've moved things around. Drop down, and this is where you would put what is the use of your funds, and this person stated they are doing it for expansion. The business industry, I've put construction. Business name, I've removed it because I don't want to reveal that. Any additional notes that you would like to share? I'm looking to expand the business and increase the marketing and advertising budget with more inventory on top of that too. So let's see this really quickly. So one, reverse engineering from additional notes, very useful, needs of funds, and reasonable. We can work with that. And that gives me already an idea. So business name took it out. Business industry, okay, get a little bit of an idea. Drop down, they want to use it for an expansion. So we know they're not looking for survival money. Maybe it's not some type of a COVID relief, maybe part of it. Perhaps it doesn't necessarily eliminate that they don't have cash flow problems, but it can be. And I've spoken with so many people who are in part of an expansion phase, and even if it don't increase your bottom line or somebody else's, they still want to be hesitant. I've spoken with so many people recently who are like, yeah, my cash flow is fine. I'm about to hit a heavy season. Would it be best for me to do a line of credit or so forth? But at the same time, they may not qualify, or they may, but the lump sum makes more sense because it would increase their bottom line in a much more effective way. But I do believe everybody should have a line of credit, and I'll leave information for that down below, the best possible ways to get it, and my number one recommended way to do it. But a line of credit, every business owner should have one. Me, myself included, does. So you can withdraw those funds and use them however you like, whenever you'd like to, without stressing about high daily payments. It's usually a weekly or even a monthly repayment from 6, 9 to 12 months. And I'll break down some numbers. This is going to be the treat for you guys, so you guys really get a good sense of how it works. Now, what am I looking at here? When we're looking at this example, and this is what you guys need to realize, because I come across people who are like, I didn't want this. I didn't get the right offer. You're telling me I got a big payment. I hear it every day, but I try to educate you guys on my emails, and I try to put all this content out there. And I put out content on the different types of interest rates, different types of daily, monthly, weekly, biweekly payments, and what they mean to you, how you can qualify for them. For this example, it'd be very hard to say they should get a longer term just based off what I'm seeing. And it wasn't given to me by my underwriters. I'm very good at this. And so based upon the $30,000, it doesn't make sense to do some type of a monthly payment. Just seeing that alone. The 540, maybe some programs can allow that for some unsecured business term loan, but it'll be very difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if they told you, no, we can't do this type of a 2 to 5 year term. Like many of you guys want are those monthly / yearly terms. And to some people, they really do work out. I've spoken with some individuals recently who qualify for SBA loans, a traditional bank term loan, online bank term loans, SBA 7As, 504s, unsecured business term loans is like one of the leaser options that is on their list specifically. Then I have like revenue-based funding / merchant cash advances, even a personal loan. So I break them down very thoroughly. So make sure you go through those emails and take it for what it is, because what you're getting there, unparalleled. Now let me get back here. So expansion, construction, we got all this. 540 FICO. You know, if they had it, let's move the monthly sales over here. They did 25,000. Can you guys tell me, if you guys can leave me a comment? If not, that's okay. Do you think he will get the 30,000, he or she? Do you realistically believe that if I'm doing 25,000, or even if I'm doing 22, maybe 20,000, to get 30,000? Sure, if you're doing 20,000 within each of the last 3 months, and you're averaging over 20,000 plus per month, then we can try to get you between 75% now to 2 times your average / lowest month. It's a little calculation we do. But to say we're going to get you 30,000, we can try, but one, your revenue isn't as strong, and then 2, you have a FICO credit score of this. 3, the 1 year and 4 months in business, preferably 2+ years would have been better. And then the type of industry we have to look at again and calculate our risks for that amount we give you, and we have to look at further details. But I think we'll just leave it at this amount. 75. So, but with this scenario, this person here looks like they will get 30,000, if not more. I just had an individual who was over 80,000 plus, requesting 30, gave him 35,000. And he didn't qualify for a line of credit, but we did qualify him for a lump sum. And we gave him more than he had asked for because he qualified for that. And it would make all the difference because they're going into a heavy season. So you have to look at it sometimes far beyond your credit score and see what your revenue is like. And then the time in business does really derail it. And I'll get into the underwriting in that in a moment. But like I said, if you can use those funds, let me move this, and then I'll get into the next part, I promise. If you can use those funds, what you get approved for, they're going to benefit you and it exceeds the repayment. Take what you can get, please. And if it's going to help, it's going to keep you stable and it's going to increase your profits, your bottom line as well, one of the two or both, then you go with it. Because You can always refinance when you pay off about 50% of it. In 2 to 3 weeks, add on some more funds as you go. Maybe you need a little extra $300 here or there. You have a personalized account manager. You have myself included. There's no harm in that. And we haven't even gone to the repayment or the interest or all that. So we'll get into it in a moment. But just understand that you can always come back and get more. Doesn't necessarily mean you never will. Just use what you can. I have a lady right now who's doing that. I have a person who just renewed. He had 40,000 first. He needed an extra 9,000. He'll probably be coming back again. That's how it gets done. People who understand this get it done without questions asked, and they go with it. They know it's going to help them. They know it's probably it's not an SBA. It's not a traditional or online bank term solution where the interest rates or the rates can be medium to high. But you have to look past that, and I'll get into that in a moment. Let's continue forward. And at any moment, guys, let me know. You guys can give me some feedback if you guys need to in the comment section. I'll try to answer them, but I'm going to be as short because I have a lot of things going on right now. So looking to expand the business and increase the marketing and advertising budget. So if this scenario pans out, makes sense. They're hitting a hard season. They're going to need the money for it. It's not quote unquote desperate money. It can feel that way in some cases, but if you're going to use the money for good, then do it. If you're going to use it for the wrong, don't. So here is his offer, his or her. So I didn't specifically, I moved some things around. So here's something I get all the times. Congrats, your business has been approved for the funding in the amount of $30,000. Once you pay on this funding for 65 business days or you become a client in good standing, you make eligible for addition. You may be eligible for additional funding at much better rates and terms. So 45 plus days, 2 to 3 weeks is kind of like the add-ons if you just need an extra amount because you just need it. But when you come back, pay 50% of it or 65 business days, you become a good client in good standing, right? You're making the payments, you're on time, you're not defaulting, you may be eligible for additional funding at much better rates and terms. That's what you guys need to understand. Very quickly, I'll move on to the next point. You can move it. If it's a daily thing you have going, and I'll show you some of the numbers, you come back. It might not be right away you go into weekly, but we can get you better rates. We can get you better terms. Maybe you got 6 months and now you're given 8 months with more that you can qualify for. You might not take the most amount you can qualify for, but we drop the rates. You're paying less, even in some cases half. In most cases, actually, when I think about it and what's come through. So now let me get back onto the share screen here. Very straightforward stuff. So please review the offer below and let us know if you would like to move forward with funding or should we close this file. Kind regards, and I didn't put the name of the person to protect that. I didn't want to put names. But there would be a name there that I took away, and it's from one of our senior underwriters and senior officers. So we have here funding amount they are getting $30,000. So they wanted $30,000, pretty much. Let's say they qualified for $35,000, but they're taking $30,000. Now, what would that look like in terms of the term? So 120 payments. I don't want to get you guys confused here. And again, these numbers have been moved around for confidential purposes, but 120 payments. And I've spoken with so many people when they see their offer, they're like, yeah, I'm getting 130, I'm getting 140. That's 2 years. No, 120 payments. Let's see, we divided that number by 21 because there's about 21 payment days in the month, Mondays through Friday, more or less, 22 or so. You're given about 5.7 months. So just round up to about a little under 6 months you're given to pay off this, okay? And I'm going to get into this. So the daily payment for this one, I didn't move that number around. So let me do the calculations here as we speak. Give me one quick second. So that is 250. Oh, sorry, that's not the one. It's going to be payback. And I'll explain to you why they got this payback and what that means in a moment. So this particular person is getting roughly $435 in total payback per day. This is a per day example. I know some of you here qualify for more types of funding. Some of you guys maybe have a weekly slash monthly situation, or I've spoken to you and I've broken down some different numbers. But please stick with me. This will be very pivotal because I'll also be breaking it down into like the weekly, biweekly, monthly. So how did I get to that number? So they have 30,000 they have been approved for, or well, let's keep it up here at, let's keep it up at 35,000 there. So they've been approved for 35,000, probably requested 30,000, right? And so they gave them more than what they would ask for, and they can adjust if they want. They say, no, I want to do this amount because maybe the repayment is a little too much, right? That's where we look past the type of rate or the type of interest rate you're getting, right? Factor rates, APRs, etc. Look at all that. So for this example, if it was like an MCA or untraditional merchant cash advances, what I like to focus a lot of time on helping people get, and I have other types of services, as you guys already know, but I'll leave information of that down below in the description in time. So how do they get to that number again? So we look at the payback number here, 52,150. So I took that number and I divided it by the total of payments that they're going to be making, and it gave me roughly an estimate around $435 per day on this payment. So what does that break down into weeks? So 435 by 5, because we only do 5 days in the week, no Saturdays or Sundays. That's $2,175 for that week. 4,350 biweekly. And then we're doing 8,700 total payback, or for the month, I mean. Do you guys understand that? You are welcome, Don. So lender closing fee, 1,245. There's some origination fees, maybe 0 to 5%. So off of 100,000, that can be 98,000 that's distributed to you because you're taking that 2%. So payback for this example, how did we get to that number? So for the rates we calculate can be different in different services, different brokerages, different lenders. But let's say we're giving them up here a 1.19 to a 1.49x rate of their advanced amount. So if they're getting 35,000 here, and we're saying what is going to be their total payback, it's less complicated because we're not working with actual interest rates, and generally it's less expensive. Usually in most cases, especially with an untraditional merchant cash advance, like the one you guys maybe have seen before, usually 50% less expensive. So 35,000 times 1.49. So this tells me this number. So I multiplied my 35,000 that they're getting funding for by my 1.49. And how do we calculate these rates? I'll show you some of the guidelines in a moment. Not all of them, but just a brief view. So they have a term of 120 payments. We know that's just below what, 6 months. Again, like I said, the payment is, you might be thinking it's a little high, but it depends on each person, how they're going to be using the money. Yes, it may be for everybody, it's high, but again, it's subjective to the person and how they're going to be using their funds. And it'll increase or keep them stable. So you got to look at that. It's not survival money for some of you guys out there who are like, this is survival money. And even with any type of business loans, maybe you've gone grants, maybe you've done SBA EIDLs and the EIDL targeted advance, but you just have to know what you're doing and getting yourself into. You really have to understand the accounting of your business and how you're budgeting everything. Otherwise, you're going to continuously complain about these things. And that's not to be rude. So they got the biggest, they got the highest, they got a 1.49. How? If their revenue was like 72,000, why would it be such a high rate? Or a total payback, right? Because of their credit score. As we stated up here, credit is an issue here. Do you really believe at what, 560 we said or so, you are going to get the lowest rate? No. You won't even get 1.19 to 1.30, which is part of our A-paper lending, which I'll show you in a moment. You are going to get more between 1.30 to 1.49, and it's going to be closer to 1.49 because your credit is an issue. If it were in the 600s, maybe we can drop it down by a couple. Maybe 625, we're getting a little bit better. Maybe between a 1.40 to a 1.45. If it's a 675 plus, okay, now we're maybe talking about let's say 1.30 to 1.45. but they don't have the time in business. 2+ years is better. So they got the higher amount there. Total payback over those months. Some people are like, well, that's crazy. It's not crazy. It's reality. So this is a non-collateral signature funding with no prepayment penalties. So without giving any kind of collateral, without any of those prepayment penalties, you get early pay discounts. Can you go to a bank and put up collateral? If that's your preferred way and you can, then do it. If not, if you don't want to be heckled, you don't want to have all this time in business and have this amount of revenue being generated with higher credit scores and so much more that's being asked of you, then there are these alternatives. And they might not be as quote unquote sexy, but this is how they work. So now let me move into this next part. So underwriting guidelines. These are some of them, not all of them, for this specific example for a traditional MCA. And it can look like this for most MCAs or other types of services, but underwriting guidelines for this, since we're calculating on total payback, a 1.19 to a 1.30 equals A paper lending clients. All right, this is the top tier people who have great funding details, exceptional funding details, I want to say. So this is a client who has great revenue over 50,000. So as I'm going to say this, we're going to flip back and forth with our example. So over 50K, does this person have that? 75,000, yes. And we don't only look at 1 month. What's your average? Is it up there above 50,000, 50,000 and above? What's your lowest month? And we look at those too. And then we come back here, we say excellent FICO credit score of a 700 plus. And we don't even have to flip back there, do we? But look, 540 already in the red right there. But they have strong revenue, so we can help them out. Now, if they didn't have strong revenue, let's say they were doing like I said earlier, like 25, they might not even get close to 30 or 35,000 with that kind of a credit score. And you've been in business for 24 months, 2+ years is what you can expect as a payback rate. So this is a lot of what our lenders in all different types of services will look at, not only with this type of product or service. So 24 months, do they have that? No, they have a year and 4 months. So already there, they're not nowhere in the ballpark of getting 1.19 to 1.30. Some of you guys are probably like leaving because maybe you're busy, but two, can't handle some of this truth. I mean, I get it. It's hard. I've been there. It's not easy. But I won't get into about what I went through. I just want to focus on you guys. So a 1.31 to a 1.49 equals B to C to D paper lending clients. B paper, and there's sometimes even more, like, I don't want to go so into depth how some companies and lenders and brokerages take even the hardest files, so many positions, but B paper is a client with revenue above 20,000 monthly, good FICO credit score 625 plus, and has been in business for 12 months, 1+ years. So this person falls into this category more. Why? Because they have revenue above 20K, above 50K, they meet that with the A paper, but they don't have a good FICO credit score. So it's more of a C paper situation because they are a client with a 525 FICO. So they're not even in the B range, although they have the revenue. They've been in business for more than a year, but they have less than a 625, between 525 to 625. D paper, a client between below 525 FICO. And even if you have that strong revenue, 30,000, 35,000, probably not. You're probably getting closer to 20,000 at that point, if anything. So the rates you get, I'm going to move the screen over if you guys can't see that as well. These rates you get, they vary depending on things like your FICO, as we just went over, time in business, other credit issues such as past bankruptcies, if any, or number of current delinquencies. Lender partners take into consideration, and one thing I want to back up on is bankruptcies. How long ago was it? It can be like forgiven and looked past, something frequently or just happening, cannot. So it just depends on who's going to take your file and if it looks good enough. Lender partners take into consideration time in your business, how much time is in it, and monthly revenue dips when determining your rate. So that's why we asked for my form will ask for that question, or those things like what is your lowest monthly sales? What is your lowest month within the last 3 months? Sometimes it can be 4 months, 6 months, etc. 4 to 6. What is the average amount within those 3 months? And so I can kind of see the two and then take an proper analyzation of it and say, this is what you will possibly qualify for. So this is what I'm doing for each and every one of you to quote unquote pre-qualify. And then I have my pre-qualification checklist. I'll try to leave down below. But other issues that may impact your rate are number of current funding positions. Like I said in the beginning, I was trying to help a person with equipment loans and he's taking out other MCA. So I don't know how much he'll qualify for there. So let's look at another situation, see if what kind of collateral he has, and we could drop down his down payment. So number of NSFs, number of non-sufficient funds, number of negative bank days, number of inquiries on credit from other lenders, daily balances, along with a few other factors, types of withdrawals. How does the cash flow look, the checks that are coming in, what's going out? So now let's get into the 100,000 example. Funding amount of 100,000. Credit is at 680. They have time in business of years or months, 2 years, 4 months. Their monthly sales, we'll keep it at 72,500. Drop down expansion, and everything is pretty much the same as I've kept it. So in this example, it's looking better, isn't it? Move this over so you can see. So this is the example number 2. So again, funding of 100,000 is what they're asking for. Credit of 680 is what they have. Time in business, 2 years, 4 months. Your monthly sales, 72,500, and everything else kind of just kept the same. So if we base this off of the rates we were going through up here, and what the underwriting guidelines, some of them tell us, is yes, they have over that amount in monthly. Their credit score is not at a 700 yet, so but we can work with that because they have a high enough revenue in their average and their lowest month, and so they've been in business for 2+ years. That checks out just underneath the FICO. But if they even had a 700 plus, that's good. So it looks like we can get them between a 1.19 to a 1.30, if not because of that 680, just a little bit higher, but generally it falls in between that. But that's how you get into this and how you really understand some of the breakdowns of how these numbers work. Now, I'm not going to go into every scenario. There's like hundreds of different scenarios I could have gone through. If the revenue was this. In fact, I cannot do it all in one video, but I see these files coming in all the time. So documents you're needed for these types of things, and it's just not with a certain company that I have listed here, but an application, completed data, signed and legible, bank statements. Most of the time we need the last 3 months, on occasion 12 months. If we're trying to get you $500,000 or $1 million+ dollars, avoided check requires avoided check on all business accounts submitted. Many times an account that is submitted has multiple transfers, so it's important to see everything that's moving around. And I spoke about transferring from different accounts, business checking accounts, personal accounts, what's qualified as actual revenue, what isn't, because moving from different accounts doesn't actually count as revenue. So that's that part. Driver's license. We will need a copy of your driver's license for all owners on the application. And we ask for the ownership. We want to know if it's over 50% of the time. Sometimes we don't ask for a second owner. Maybe if it's underneath 50%, 51%, then we'll need to. But usually when that comes down to more than one owner, it's one person's signature on the application. You don't usually have to put the two. In some cases maybe, but not all the time. So a tax return, optional. This will only be required if you're asking for over 150,000. This is asked so we can see who really owns your business. You can say you have 100% ownership, but your K1 only says you own 25%, and that's what it's reporting. Financials only required on all requests exceeding 100,000. Profit and loss, balance sheet, tax returns, AR report, and so forth. And then I have a contact form submission details example I want to get through, and I'm going to get to the end of this video in a moment. I'm actually pushing very far. I think I'd be, 43 minutes. Thank you guys for being here. Contact form submission details. So I have a form that you guys can fill out, and I'll show you what that looks like. But this is the email. I give you guys a rough draft of what it looks like. I don't give you everything. It's going to be a very long, usually a longer email than this. But I'll say something like, hi, your name. Once your submission details come in, like we've seen this earlier. Thanks for submitting your details for whatever type of funding it is. This one is COVID relief funding on my website, Viral Funding Solutions. I've carefully reviewed your information and it all looks good so far. Now I'm going to show you all your options below this and how they work. But first, how are you doing? And what business are you in exactly? As well as what's your FICO credit score? And so some of these it still look different maybe to you because you've answered everything. Sometimes somebody doesn't give me the FICO credit score. I need to ask for that because it gives me a better idea of what you just saw. But it won't hurt your credit score when you submit it into my funding form. It doesn't go into an application. So it's just between you and I. I asked for your FICO so I can get a better sense. Above all that, so I'm going to show you the best options below for getting started, from a lump sum to even a business line of credit, which could be the best if you are hurting with cash flow or need to be prepared for it, and need COVID relief too. So it just depends on what you're applying for. So, and then I took out a little section of what I put. You're not seeing everything in between. There's a lot more in between, but towards the bottom, or I think this could be even at the top, business line of credit. What do you think about getting approved for this amount? Here are some of the details. Automatic weekly repayments, easy to understand, and I break down the numbers for you that I won't go into in this video, but the cost of funds or the interest per weekly basis, 0.69 to 1.39 cost of funds. For example, let's say you get approved for this amount, and you'll see this when it comes through, and if you can get approved for this. And even if you don't, I'll show you your options and what to expect when you're ready. So qualifications, and then I give you some links at times to go get started with your application after I've broken down everything for you, number for number usually, and then the conclusion on what I would do if there are multiple things and what to look out for. And then I sometimes give additional bonuses. I get you guys my number, send me a quick text, click here if you want to chat on Messenger, and I just take care of you guys. And so let me come down here. So this is the form I want to show you guys. We're going to get out of this screen into this one. Actually, let's see. And I'll wrap things up. Hopefully I can get out of here before it's been an hour. But I've enjoyed the time you guys have been spending here with me. I don't take any of that for granted. You're the best. Let me come back over here and paste this. So those of you who have shown up here and who will be watching this on the replay, great job. I mean, there's people who neglect all this. I even have people who I train as brokers who will reach out to me as part of my teammates. They're, I'm like the leader on my group. And guess what? They're asking me simple questions that I've given to them in the training, but they're not resourceful. So what I ask from you is just be resourceful. So this is kind of more or less what you'll see in one of these funding forms. I've changed it a little bit if you've already submitted one. But I'm asking for simple things like your name, email, phone number. Usually mobile is preferred, not to heckle you, but just to send you a follow-up that I've emailed you, just to go check it out. The funding amount that you are requesting, your FICO credit score does not affect anything. Time in business, years or months, please specify. Monthly sales, least amount in the last 3 months. And then I'll have here, it might look different, I might just keep it like this for some time, but average monthly sales within the last 3 months, and then you can click one. All right. And then use of funds, what are they going to be used for? There's a big drop down, you can select the right one. And any additional notes you'd like to share, example, exact use of funds, business industry, etc. if I hadn't asked for the business industry already. And then this page might look a little bit different. I might add some more things. I'm planning on doing that. I have some plans for that. But this is more or less what you would expect to come across. And you can fill out those simple funding details. And like I showed you just a second ago, the example of the email, I didn't show you everything. And I wanted to keep it confidential, but I gave you guys a quick example. You guys just saw some of the beginning and then didn't see everything like the meat and potatoes in the middle, and then everything which you can get towards the bottom, conclusion. But it'll look different for each person, just similar type of format, but it is very personalized and customized to what you can get. But now let me go over here into this screen and talk about these $13,000 in bonuses you guys can get for free. You're like, oh, it doesn't sound very hype. They're very up there. For those of you who are just joining me, lots going on right now. I didn't think I'd be on here, even 48 minutes. But going through a lot. It's the loss of my dog, the loss of my brother, the loss of my family member. Maybe a dog, but he's a human. So now I'm trying to get this screen to show, and we'll wrap things up after this is done, I promise. But yeah, if you're here watching this now or even on the replay, it'll pay off a lot. Like, so many people request things, but they are not well educated on this, and it's not your fault 100%. I'm here to help you with this. So hopefully this loads. It looks like the screen has frozen. Okay, there we go. Let me put this on full screen. So So one thing I like to do and how I take care of you guys is give you guys some amazing bonuses for getting funding, not just some free ones. Sometimes there are free bonuses like free restaurant packages and stuff like that that I may be adding, but just some bonuses that I give people as an independent agent, as an independent broker, something that I can help you with in terms of your business with marketing and advertising, because I've come from that world and I still work on that. I do it to this day. But you get bonuses like the Facebook Accelerator course of $597 plus in value, and that's been discounted heavily, so it could be worth thousands, showing you how to maximize your exposure both organically, paid as well. SEO stuff, how to rank locally, how to do Google blogging, how to do Google Ads. Bonus number 3, 180 done for you emails by a professional copywriter, very expensive stuff, $6,000 plus. Bonus number 4, special access to all my social media and extra guides. Bonus number 5, free access to my private Facebook group, and I may have a different one where I can be more closely with those who've gone funding and need more help. Bonus number 6, full sales funnel domination course. Bonus number 7, my fast action storytelling for business scripts. Special bonus number 1, then comes a free complimentary vacation incentive worth over thousands of dollars depending on the vacation you take. And this is something that I give people for getting business funding through me. And you're going to be well taken care of. These vacation packages are amazing. Use them myself. They are legitimate. And you can get a free complimentary vacation to wherever you'd like to go, whether you want to stay and visit in the US or go international. I will be giving you your dream vacation and or to any place you would like to go. Selected places available, but there are many of them to choose from. Relax in the sun-soaked beach, gaze at the endless neon of the Vegas Strip, sample local cuisine at a picturesque Mexican plaza, and so much more. This offer is only given for clients at the moment who are getting fundings of $25,000 plus and above, who I will be distributing to some of those who did get funding through me soon. But this could change. It could be 20, it could be nothing. But that's what I want to keep it at. And if I grow even deeper relationship, I was going to say darker for some reason. Deeper relationship, I accidentally clicked to a different editor, so I'm coming back here. Then it may be something I give you guys, all right, for the type of way you've opened up to me. Maybe there's something that I found that you personally connected with on a deeper level. And you know you're that person who's going to be in charge and being taken care of and looking after their business and really cares about not only the funding they're getting, but myself included. If I can really feel that from you and it's not fake, doesn't present itself that way, then I may just give you that incentive. But let's wait for this to load again. And I'll show you the rest of the special bonuses. And again, we'll close down from here. It always seems to take a little longer when I'm sharing. But the full video to these bonuses, I'll try to link them down below in the description in time so you guys can see a full video where I break it down description for description on what you're getting. It's more comprehensive and better broken down than what I'm doing now. So now let me actually do this because that's taking too long. Way too long. Okay, so you guys are going to get a little navigation around my site. Oh, that's why. So I have two. There we go. So this will load quickly. So now let me go to the very bottom here. I was in my editor before. This is why it looks a little different. And yeah, so the special bonus number 1 I'm giving away. Special bonus number 2, it is my Affiliate Marketing for Entrepreneurs Academy mini course. So if you guys want to learn different streams of income, you guys want to learn how to add a different business, then I have a lot of depth and experience in these other ones. So you guys can learn how to do that. And I even can unlock the full course for $2,000 plus. Special bonus number 3, high ticket stuff. You can earn higher ticket commissions. Special bonus number 4, exclusive access to all this high ticket stuff. Number 5, my one blog post away challenge that I created myself, 2,000 over in value. Special bonus number 6, discover your niche mastery blueprint if you want to learn how to discover different niches and understand your own as well. And there are more bonuses on top of that that are added. It's not exclusively to that. So in time it can change, and there's always a lot of the times where I add on extra bonuses that you don't see here. There's exclusive bonuses that you'll get on top of that, and that's what I listed on that. But that will conclude everything in this video. Just to recap, you guys got an idea of how to go from, in a sense, 25 to 100,000 in these offers, getting the offer you deservedly need. You don't always get to choose your offer. Don't always battle. Take what you can get if it makes sense. And then the repayment is less than the benefits, then you do it. It won't hurt your cash flow. If you think it will, maybe a line of credit would be best. And then we can always add a line of credit to a lump sum or vice versa, or one or the other. Let me look over my notes here. I actually don't have it on screen right now because I moved it out of the way. But we talked about all that, the different examples and equipment, what I'm going through with one person as well as many other ones, some scenarios, FICO credit score, how that can get in the way of what you can actually get with your rate and what you can qualify for. Just some examples, 25,000 or 35,000 to 100,000 or so. But I showed you that, some of the underwriting guidelines, and then some of the other things that I broke down for you guys. So that will be everything from me. Thank you guys for watching, and I very much appreciate you guys' energy and your time. I promise I hopefully will. This will be hard for me. I mean, again, I'm going through hard times with my dog passing, and so I'm really quiet right now. Like, it's almost like it's not in like complete shock, but it's just I was prepared for this. 15 years of age, we had to euthanize him. He didn't have the veins, so we can do it. So we had to sedate him first, and they had to put the needle in his heart. And so, yeah, we tried to get blood work from him too, but it was very difficult. So we had to do it on Monday. Like Monday, we trying to do it on Thursday, but he had already been like, I don't know if you guys have ever gone through this or seen, like, because I saw this with my grandma. She passed away in February, or yeah, February. No, excuse me, January. But it's like Gizmo, my dog's name, gave us that time to grieve with her, and it's still hard. And then he gave us that time, like he was preparing, like there was no better way. And I talk to him every night before I go to bed. So I think about him every day, and it's just hard. It's I know some of you guys have had to be in that position. And you always build a stronger bond with your dogs, and I'd say with a human being it's different. Like in me in a relationship with a woman I love and I care both for, but the strong relationship I have with a dog, especially if it's not my like son dog or my daughter dog, but it's my brother dog, and so being inseparable and unbreakable. But yeah, I mean he struggled. He was getting older, and the age for those for a dog like himself, 10 to 15 years, but he was pushing it close to 16 years, about 15 years and 10 months just before March. And so he, I always held him right here. Like Monday, I didn't think we were going to take him in, but he wasn't looking good at all. From Sunday, where my mom and some other people had to come together, sleep with him, had to comfort him. I had to be by his side when I asked him to. And he wouldn't sleep well. He'd yelp. It was no longer a bark. It was like help. Like I need to get up. His legs weren't working. His back legs, his front legs better, but his back, like he had jumped off a bed a long time ago, years and years ago. It was gonna happen at some point. He's that type of dog who was always up and down and would come scratch my door to let him in and get on the bed. And when he needed to go, he'd jump off that little bed. It wasn't too high for him. I made sure of that, but can't prevent those types of things. And just loving and everything you could ask for, and the dog, and my favorite and my best friend. And so, yeah, he just, I don't want to get too into detail again, but his legs. And he gave us a sign. I think there's a sign where a dog, like they put their paws like this in a cross. It almost tells them like, look, I'm okay. I'm at peace. And here's one other thing too. It was hard because Monday I had to get away from my desk and I couldn't really work, but I had to deal with him because he was crying outside. I usually watch him behind me. You guys probably have seen him behind me. And, so I usually have him, and I introduce you guys maybe, but I had him right here with his blanket because he would just go. He had incontinence, and so he would just go, and I just have him in my blanket right here. Hug him. I'd whisper in his ear. It was hard for him to hear sometimes, but I told him, "I have you. I got you. Don't worry. Everything will be okay." just make sure you say hi to my grandma and my grandpa. They'll be up there welcoming you in. Everything will be fine. And he kind of accepted it, so I kind of brought it up at that point. I knew he had accepted these things. You just feel it, get the sense like, and he knows where he's at that point. And it was hard for him to breathe. And the kidney failure, he had kidney failure. He was like in the later stages, like stage. We couldn't get the blood work again, but stage maybe 3 or 4, I believe 4 now. And so, um, yeah, by that point, he had already been over 356 days, and usually they give you what 200 to 400 days. Um, so he was hanging in there, and it was hard for him to breathe. So we took him into the vet, where we usually would take him. And then we had some moments with him. My younger brother, my family, my mom, my dad, my brother's girlfriend, fiance, and just was there again hugging him. We got some nice pictures of him. We set him down with his little Superman outfit. We put it on top of him, and he was just very skinny and thin at that point. But yesterday we went to McMinimans. We went to a restaurant here, and we got some burgers in remembrance of him because he would love Wendy's patties. He really didn't eat his own dog food, and he had a lot of weenies, and we gave him a lot of the burger patty. It was Carl's Jr. and Wendy's, but Wendy's 100% of the time. He loved the meat, but he just wouldn't eat it anymore. We had to give him bone broth. He wouldn't even drink the water anymore. I had to put it in a syringe, and so I had to change everything on him. And so yesterday we got those 3 little patties, side burgers, and the sliders. And so then came I think it was 3 pickles, and then 1 pickle was in the shape of a heart. And I don't know if they did that on purpose, because I don't think that's how they slice it when they go through the machines to slice it. They usually circular, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But we saved it. I was out there with my mom and my dad. My little brother couldn't come out because he had family. But we saw the heart of the pickle, and it was just like that moment where we're out here celebrating for Gizmo, and it was like he sent us the message. I don't want to get into that spirituality side of things, but it's like he sent us a message saying, "Hey, I'm okay up here. I love you guys. You guys took care of me very well, and everything was gonna be okay." So, yeah, that'll be everything from me, guys. Thank you.